Assalamu alaikum, ladies and gentlemen. Today's online session is going to be on employability skills by Dr. Eeshal Chaudhry. Before we take Dr. Eeshal Chaudhry for her presentation, we'll have a short video of FLAME, that is Forum for Leadership and Management Excellence. We are going to show you that, and then after that, Dr. Eeshal Chaudhry will be taking an online session for about an hour on employability skills. So here.
लपे आती है दुआ बन के तमन्ना मेरी, लपे आती है दुआ बन के तमन्ना मेरी। जिंदगी शम्मा की सूरत हो खुदाया मेरी, जिंदगी शम्मा की सूरत हो खुदाया मेरी। लपे आती है दुआ बन के तमन्ना मेरी। यूं ही मेरे वतन की जीनत हो, मेरे दम से यूं ही मेरे वतन की जीनत। जिस तरह फूल से होती है चमन की जीनत, जिस तरह फूल से होती है चमन जीनत। जिंदगी हो मेरी परवाने की सूरत या रब, जिंदगी हो मेरी परवाने की सूरत या रब। इल्म की शम्मा से हो मुझको मोहब्बत या रब, इल्म की शम्मा से हो मुझको मोहब्बत या रब। हो मेरा काम गरीबों की हिमायत करना, दर्दमंदों से ज़ईफ़ों से मोहब्बत करना। मेरे अल्लाह चलाना मुझको, नेक जो राह हो उस राह पे चलाना मुझको। मेरे अल्लाह बुराई से बचाना मुझको, नेक जो राह हो उस राह पे चलाना मुझको। मेरे अल्लाह बुराई से बचाना मुझको, नेक जो राह उस राह पे चलाना मुझको। मेरे अल्लाह
Beautiful. Let me start it. Thank you everyone for being here, and thank you Sir Faisal Shabir and Sir Iftikhar for giving me a chance to speak on this incredible forum. Today we will talk about employability skills, but before that, let me offer a quick introduction about myself. My name is Eeshal, and my academic and professional career covers almost 20-25 years. Initial 10 to 12 years, I was in Pakistan, and I literally started from kindergarten, nurseries as an early childhood educator, then to secondary, high schools, further to colleges and universities. Last leg of my career was like 10 to 12 years. I was teaching different courses of University of London, University of Hertfordshire, USA, and then finally in Australia. In Australia, I remained associated with Flinders University as a lecturer, and then with TFSA, which is South Australia's Technical and Further Education College and Institute. It's an incredible place where they offer technical skills besides teaching very core and basic knowledge about small and specific areas. I would just share its details some other day because it's an absolutely beautiful and terrific thing to be implemented. So in today's session, which I would call more as a talk, we will be discussing employability skills, what can get you into job after getting the degrees, and why degrees can't assure you to get a job. Let me share my screen and start the presentation. So please confirm you can see my screen.
Yes, we did see.
Beautiful. So it's employability soft skills. And today's target audience is students, job seekers, early career, and young professionals. I'm targeting the students or early young professionals from the teenage or early 20s. Duration of this session will be 50 minutes. Talk layout pattern would be, we will brainstorm you with some questions to start with, finally leading to take-home message after discussion. And this is something how I always structure my lectures. I never give students a lot of knowledge or bombard with them too many things right at the start of the lecture. I just engage them, and then step by step, we build brick by brick, we construct the whole thing that we are trying to deliver. So our first question would be, how many of you believe a degree alone guarantees a job? I'll give you a few moments to think about it, and then we can further discuss it. So any feedback from the audience?
I don't think so. Like, there's a lot more to a degree. Degree is probably just a certificate to enter somewhere, like pass or the ticket to.
Degree is absolutely right. Yeah, degree is just a ticket. Degree can get you into something, not exactly to get into, to make you sit for the interview, but it cannot guarantee you a job, or it cannot guarantee you that you will be able to get the job. So why employability skills matter more than ever? Because technical skills can get you shortlisted, soft skills get you hired. In Pakistan, we produce thousands of graduates every year, but not all of them get hired. Have you ever thought why this scenario is building? One reason could be there are lack of job opportunities, but the other thing is, which should be thought over, that we have tens and tens of graduates. Many of them have scored 90% or above, or you can say they are distinction or high distinction holders. And many of them hardly scored 60 or 70%. When it comes to getting the job, you see many of the mediocre students are sitting on the positions. One reason could be that might be they had some very strong links or references. The other reason could be they had very strong employability skills. They were able to convince the employers that they are a good fit for the company. I conducted a research on this topic when I was back in Australia, which covered Australian market versus Pakistan market. And I spoke to employers, HR managers, industry leaders, just to get some data that what are the main issues that employers or HR leaders are facing while hiring the new candidates. So the main things that Pakistani employers or HR managers highlighted, they were attitude problems, communication and discipline problems, whereas Australian market was facing altogether different issues. We will be discussing those few issues in the next slides. If you have any question, please feel free to ask, because I believe in interactive sessions. I do not prefer just to finish the whole thing and in the end you can ask questions. If you feel like there is something that you want to ask, you can just go ahead with that. What employers in Pakistan say? Let's do a reality check. The common employer complaints were poor communication, lack of punctuality, weak work ethics, no teamwork spirit, and can't take feedback. We will be discussing all these points one by one. All these terms sound and look very familiar, and we use it on a daily basis. But somehow, unfortunately, you might have noticed that many of us are replicating these issues or doing all this stuff at our workplaces. I have just picked this piece of writing from a recruitment director in Melbourne. When I had a chat, they were like what problems they are facing while hiring the new candidates. So the main thing that they focused on was the quality of the candidates was not matching the requirements or was not meeting the expectations of the employers. And it's because young people don't want to work. That was one reason that they mentioned. Most employers we speak to are struggling to attract candidates. They are struggling with what comes after the hires. And that was who's actually ready versus just keen. This is what we say, are you ready to be at work? Because our universities are somehow, they are graduating students with a lot of theoretical knowledge and zero technical skills. And this is not only Pakistan's problem, many markets are facing the same issues. And that's the main reason why there is a mushroom growth of technical, vocational, or applied education institutes all over the world. How much support will this person need in the first 90 days? The main issues that Australia is dealing at the moment is like they are doing a lot of effort to hire for example, when they are getting a new resource, there is a lot of effort around it, shortlisting, and then doing interviews, then final interviews, a lot more stuff involved in it. After all this struggle, they just want a person to be right fit at work. But what happens, like many of them cannot complete probation period, which is usually of 90 days. So employers are mainly focusing it, if we are hiring somebody, will they be able to sustain or remain in the job after 3 months? What happens if it gets wrong? How do we get someone a real start without burning out supervisors? They somehow have a culture where they do not prefer to offer you too much ongoing support in terms of teaching you the skills. So there is a lot of difference between that. Hiring to a position is one thing, and then remaining or sticking or sustaining the position is another thing. In Pakistan, we are facing somehow different issues, which we will be discussing in next few slides. If you are hiring apprentices, trainees, or entry-level staff, the risk is not the wage. The risk is how how the person can be a right fit. So before you hire entry-level talent, they just ask few questions. Do they really understand the job? Not the title, the reality. Like the candidate might have to do early start, they might have to sit late, they might have a lot of pressure at work. Will they be able to cope with all of that? So these are the main issues that Australia is facing.
There's a somebody has raising hand to ask question. पूछ सकते हैं question बीच में भी?
Yeah, most definitely. Sorry, I was just having the presentation in display. Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much. I have a question. As you have already told in the previous slide, I guess, 2 slides before, you said in usually degree is just a entry point, or it is a ticket to get the job. Yes, this is if we talk about Pakistani scenario, it is without a degree we cannot land into that particular job. So our soft skills, our other skills, they come later. We first need a degree in order to get a good job in Pakistan, in order to get a desired job. Again, in the previous slide, you have told that first 90 days are very important. That is most primarily the probation period. But what happens in Pakistan is, I believe, first 3 days are very important, because in those 3 days we are being judged how we will carry on with the work. So they don't mostly they don't give us the first 90 days probation period to in fact they judge us on the first 3 days, because we don't have that system of lots of interviews, lots of other things that you have mentioned that is happening in Australia. So you have already mentioned that in the next slides, you will talk about the Pakistani scenario. So far, this thing works well in Australia or America or in Europe. But I believe these are the things which we need to be there in Pakistani situation, but actually they are not happening at this level. Like first 30 days, 90 days, no one give us a chance, particularly if they are the students or internees or the and they are doing the internships. But even for those who are experienced, in fact, no one tolerates the 90 days period. In fact, they are expecting that we have to be very pro in everything from the day first we join any job.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you for your question. So let's start the same points again. The first thing is degree cannot get you job. I would stick to the same point. Degree cannot get you the job. So if you think degree...
sorry for interruption. We can have it in mixed Urdu and English so that we can have a more larger audience who can understand clearly after the recording is done and we post it on YouTube. So it can be a mix of Urdu and English.
Okay.
Okay, fine. Whatever is comfortable to you otherwise.
Okay, fine, sure. So I would come to the same point. Degree is a ticket that can make you sit on the chair where you can get the interview, right? So there is the next step which comes after the interview, right? You can get shortlisted, but during the interview, you need to have convincing skills. You need to have very strong communication skills to share what you have done in your past, what you can contribute to the organization, how you can benefit the organization, how good you are at following the directions, rules, and regulations. One thing. Second thing, how you present yourself. So there are too many things, because you are not the only one who's getting the interview. There could be tens of other candidates who got the interview call. In order to be successful in the interview, you need to have soft skills, which we call employability skills, to get the job. So that's the main difference that we are discussing today, that your degree can get you an interview, but to be successful in the interview, you need to have very strong employability skills. And these are the same. You need to have very strong communication, be it in Urdu or in English, whatever the medium of communication in that specific organization. You have to show that you are a very good, rather the best fit for this position. Secondly, professional attitude and discipline. And when you get into the job, Then the later points that you discussed, they were really valid, that nobody gives you 90 days. You are absolutely right. I totally agree with you. The thing is, probation period is called probation period, which means that 90 days they will be analyzing how you're working. I won't use judge. Judge is a very strong word. I would say they would be closely monitoring you. They would be analyzing. They would be assessing you at different levels, how you work under pressure, how you face stressful situations, about your punctuality, about your self-discipline, teamwork, problem-solving mindset, adaptability, and willingness to learn, how you deal with your seniors. So all these things will be assessed in the next 90 days. If they believe in the very initial 3 or 4 days, you couldn't meet their requirements, they can say, "You, thank you very much, we don't need you." So this is how the probation works. And when they get you in a position, they have this expectation in their mind that you need to get everything done because you are sitting after completing that specific degree. And according to employers, if you are coming on this position, you should be well equipped with all the knowledge, theoretical and practical knowledge to continue the work there. As Sir Faisal said, that we can use bilingual medium of communication. I'm totally happy with that to make sure our larger audience can be addressed. I'm pretty much comfortable in English, but that's fine. We can reiterate all these points in Urdu language as well a little bit later. So these are not Western ideas. These are universal workplace expectations. If you think that these specific things are only like they matter in Western world or in European world, this is just our perception. All employers want their employees to have very strong communication skills. Very strong communication skills doesn't necessarily mean that you should be good in English. It means you should be able to clearly iterate your point, whatever you want to say, whether it's in Urdu or English, whatever language. You need to have professional attitude and discipline. So all these things matter wherever you work. I hope I answered your question.
Yes, exactly. Thank you very much. In fact, now it is cleared.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you for that. Now let's move to the next, what we were discussing. Now we'll be doing one by one each step that we discussed previously. Communication skills, let's discuss it in detail. What employers expect: clear speaking, not perfect English. You should be able to exactly say what you want to say. Language doesn't matter, accent doesn't matter. Yeah, confidence does matter. Sometimes you can mumble. Sometimes it happens that new candidates, they are struggling to deliver what they are saying. It's something very common. Whenever you are at a new place, be it an organization or forum or whatever, this is something very natural, something human, that initially when you are getting settled down with the things, you might feel a little bit anxious or confused. That's fine. But within few minutes, you should be able to overcome the situation. That's what they are closely observing. Listening skills. If, for example, you're delivering something or you are working in an organization and your seniors wanted to provide you feedback on something, make sure you listen attentively, you pay attention to details, and make sure you implement all that. Professional emailing and social media usage etiquettes. This is something which is very much important these days, social media usage etiquettes. Different governments, different countries, different setups have different rules and regulations. Whenever you are working in an organization or in a country, other in Pakistan or other than Pakistan, just make sure that your social media should be aligned with the countries or the organizations' rules and regulations or their policies. There was something which was called freedom of speech. But just make sure when you are working in an organization, there is nothing like freedom of speech. You are getting paid for what you're doing. So it's not something that you believe that, for example, when it comes to rules and regulations, for example, अपने social media पर हो, आप बोलो कि मेरी personal space है और इसमें मैं अपनी मर्जी का सब कुछ लिख सकता हूँ. It doesn't go like that. As long as you are not damaging reputation of the institutes, you are not raising your finger on their integrity, that's fine. If you are sharing your personal stuff, that's totally fine. But just be very careful and mindful when you use social media, and especially if you are discussing something which is like official or something which you believe shouldn't be shared. Organizations are closely monitoring your social media accounts these days. So I would suggest be very mindful when you use social media, respectful tone with seniors, which is like basic expectations. Another point that I would like to add here, many of us, they are highly educated professionals with very strong academic and professional histories, a lot of certifications. When they change organizations, what happens? They have so many things in their mind that they can do this, they can do that. They were able to lead teams at this level and that level. But always remember, when you move to a different country or you move to a different organization, even within Pakistan, the next company where you are moving in, you are the junior most. No matter you are on a higher position, but you are in a new setup, you are in a new company, just make sure initial few days or few weeks, just spend your time listening to the people who are already there for several years, or the people who are having very high positions in that organizations. Just make sure that with the passage of time, you align yourself with them, because there would be definitely a lot of things to learn, no matter how strong academically or professionally you are. So give yourself that buffer zone where you are getting okay with the next organizations, and don't give an attitude which says, I know it all. Confidence matters more than accent. Always remember this thing, because what happens sometimes, we are so much focused on speaking some certain language or giving some certain accent that we totally forget what we were like, what was the aim to deliver, why we were sitting here. So just make sure that your main aim and focus remains on the content or the thing, whatever job or responsibilities you have. Your main aim should be to deliver what you are supposed to deliver, rather than showing or displaying accents and related stuff. The next point that we mentioned, there was professional attitude and discipline, which is pretty much simple: punctuality, responsibility, meeting deadlines, following instructions. All of these are very simple and basic things, but many of us know it, but somehow they can't do it. Sorry, yeah?
There is a question from the audience.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Thank you very much. Actually, I don't have a question. I just want to elaborate. I just want to add a few things. In the previous slide, you have talked about active listening, and the first point was, can you please go back to the previous slide?
Yeah, most definitely.
If it is possible. Okay.
Yeah.
First one is clear speaking, not the perfect English. This is something very common, which I have seen in my students. I have seen many people that they speak with a really fast pace. So what is the outcome? They don't usually speak clearly. So what I suggest to my students and to the people around, I suggest them to exercise, to do a few exercises which are related to how they can maintain a good pace when speaking. So over the course of a time, they start speaking with a good pace. Second one is listening skills. These are very important. We are trained to speak a lot. We are trained to write, but we are not trained to listen more. So I believe this is the most underrated skill, but this is the most important skill, how to listen to the others. So, and the other thing, and the last is confidence matters more than the accent. So I believe with accent is nothing. I mean, it is if you have a good accent, but right pronunciation matters more. At least what we are speaking, either in Urdu, either in Punjabi, either in any language, but we should try to speak it in a correct way.
Beautiful inputs and points. I totally agreed with all of them. When it comes to clear speaking, you know, like different people have different accents. Some of them speak very fast, some of them speak very slow, or as I said, some of them initially mumble, later on they get clear. It could be because they are anxious, or might be they're at a new place, so that's fine. As long as you are able to deliver the message, that's fine. Speed is okay. Like I personally don't mind speak until I'm understanding what they are trying to say. And there is no harm in requesting them. I will just give you a small example. When I started in Flinders, we had students from different countries and different backgrounds. Many of them were literally Irish students. They were just speaking too fast. And when I started, I had to struggle with what they are trying to say. My coordinator, I still appreciate her like anything. She spoke to me at that time and she was like, look, this is not something that you should be confused about. Different countries have different accents. They have different way of delivering or saying the things. Some of them just try to deliver the message in few words. Some of them just elaborate them a lot. The main thing is you are sitting on this position because you have incredible technical, educational, theoretical, and practical skills with a lot of experience. If you didn't get something, just ask the student, can you please repeat it again? Can you please go a little bit slow? And that's perfectly all right. There is no shame in requesting them to repeat it. There is no shame in telling them that it's my second or third language, and I might have to listen to you again to understand what exactly you are inquiring or asking. So just make yourself very comfortable with that. Second listening skill, I would also like to narrate a small incident. When I initially did IELTS, I scored like 7.5 and 8 in all the skills except listening. Imagine, I just got 6 in listening. As you said, this is an extremely underrated skill. We mainly focus on speaking. What we are speaking, we hardly listen what the other person is saying. So with the passage of time, I did a lot of practice to listen, to pay attention to the details. And after like 2 or 3 attempts, I was able to do very good score in listening. So yeah, listening is a very important skill. We won't be able to exactly deliver what our employers are expecting from us unless we listen attentively to the inquiries. And yeah, I believe I answered your questions. Are you happy to go to the next slide?
Yes, please. Thank you very much.
Oh, good. So I just wanted to discuss a small and crisp scenario with you all. How lateness and excuses damage reputation. I would like to narrate a small example. When I was working back there in Australia, initially when I started, trust me, like I'm working for the last 20 or 25 years, initial 10 years were in Pakistan. I had a car, I had a driver, but somehow, I don't know what was the reason, I always ended up 2, 3, or 5 minutes late at work. Either it was some cultural thing, or it was some mismanagement with timings, or poor management or timing skills. I'm not exactly sure what was the reason, or might be it was something that the whole community was doing and they were just taking it very normal that 9 is the start time. Being there at 9:05 or 9:10 is perfectly all right. So I never realized this thing while working in Pakistan. When I moved to Australia, roughly like 10 to 12 years back, I observed that I was the only one who was getting 2, 3, or 5 minutes late. Rest everybody was, and I used to reach work like it was funny and kind of ridiculous. Now if I just look back, I would be running and rushing like anything, carrying my stuff and laptop, and then rushing straight to the lecture hall and then setting up everything. Slowly I started realizing and noticing, observing everybody around me that if, for example, 9 o'clock is the start time, by 8:30 or 8:40, they would plan for 8:40. They'll be there. They would just calmly come, sit on the desk, put their stuff, make themselves some coffee, just grab, like after grabbing coffee, enjoying it, they would just prepare their presentation notes and stuff, materials. They would reach to the lecture hall at least 5 or 7 minutes before this lecture start time. I feel so embarrassed in a way, and I do not feel any shame in sharing that, because this was a positive thing that I learned from there. And I'm so proud of myself that I did it. Like, since childhood, we were taught to be punctual from school, from kindergarten, from high school, be on time, be on time. But somehow, I don't know why I never realized it back in Pakistan. So this was one of the greatest things that I learned. I started aiming for, this is a small thing, but it has tremendous impact on your employers. I started aiming at 8:40, that if my lecture is starting at 9, I should be there at 8:40, so that all the small or big issues that I faced, last minute phone call, or I got stuck up in traffic, or I got stuck up with something very urgent. So I gave myself 20 minutes time where I can deal with all these emergencies and still I should be on time. And I'm so much happy with myself that I was able to make it, and it has just become a habit. So always remember, being punctual looks very small, something very standard, but it has a very long-lasting and strong impact on your employers and at your workplace.
That is, it happened exactly the same thing happened when I went to China. At Nanjing, that was the first day, and they had asked to assemble at 7:30. I reached there by 7:27, and he said the bus has gone. So I was to take that bus, and then he said, okay, I'll ask the driver to stop, and you have to walk and get the bus, but you should not be late. I said, that look at the clock. I'm 3 minutes earlier. He said, no, we gather 10 minutes earlier, and we start 5 minutes earlier, whatever we have to do, anything. It was very, very embarrassing for me, because I was representing Pakistan, and then I made sure that I'm there 15 minutes earlier.
Same here.
Coming back to Lahore, again on the same page as Lahoris are. Every function here starts at least 45 minutes
late
after the given time.
So this was exactly the situation that I was facing. Somehow, this is why I was saying that somehow it's culturally acceptable to be a few minutes late or right on time. But like, everybody was there in Australia. Like, it's not one odd exception, or it was not only one odd person who was doing this. Whole organization would be there at least 20-25 minutes before the start time. They would chat, they would have a nice cup of coffee, relax themselves, prepare them for the lecture or for the work. And I really absolutely love this thing. There is another scenario where skilled but careless versus average but disciplined employee. If I give you this scenario, you are the employer or you are the hiring manager, and the next person is on probation, and you have to observe them that they one person is highly skilled with highly sophisticated degrees and knowledge versus, but he's careless. The other person is average, disciplined, and trustworthy. You know that if you assigned them with something, whether they know it or not, they will manage to finish it. And they won't give you a last moment shock. I think it's a natural and genuine answer that you will always incline towards somebody whom you can trust. If I'm wrong, just raise your hand, or you can share your inputs as well.
Madam, there's a saying in HR that hire for the attitude, train for the skills.
Beautiful.
This goes exactly in line with your thinking that we should hire for the attitude, because building attitude, which is already hardwired, is very, very difficult. Whereas building skills is easier than building attitude.
Yeah, you know, skills can be built. Skills can be taught. We can mentor the person, but we cannot change their attitude. So attitude is the main thing that we need to focus, and employability skills is all about attitude. Why we call them soft skills? That they are not very hardcore technical things that you need a lot of energy, time, brain to consume. These are very simple things of everyday life, which all of us know, but somehow we are not paying them much attention. It's same like as we discussed punctuality. All of us know we should be in time, but somehow we end up late. So
being devil's advocate, like in Pakistan, what they have done is that they have put the finger machines everywhere. So if you like, you have to scan your finger, and they note the time, and they tell you that if you are late by so and so minutes, pay is going to be deducted from your salary is going to be deducted. So that is the solution in Pakistan, that everybody tries to reach in time otherwise.
I reckon whomsoever invented this idea or invented this machine, that's an absolutely amazing thing. We offer them a salute, because when people know that it will be deducted, I reckon nobody would be late.
Yeah, this is what happens.
Yeah. Beautiful. Let's go to the next slide, and that's work ethics and integrity. Employers value honesty, trustworthiness, respect for company rules, accountability. If we just see in detail all these points, we will find some link with, or rather very strong link with, Islamic and cultural values. Islam exactly teaches the same. When you're getting paid for something, make sure that you honestly do your work. You should be trustworthy. Your employer should feel free to, shouldn't be doubting about anything regarding you. Respect for company rules and regulations, and accountability. These are very basic Islamic laws and regulations or teachings. Cultural, I'm not fully agree to this part, or there could be like all the cultures have some कुछ ऐसे उसमें points होते हैं कि जो somehow acceptable हो जाते हैं, but they shouldn't be. But these ethics are the same teachings what Islam offers us. Trust is a rare but powerful skill. Always remember, trust is very rare. If somehow you are able to gain trust of your employer, believe me, this is one of the best things that you can do at workplace. Because my effort when I'm at work, I just try to make sure that my manager should be 100% confident that if she gave me some deadline for a task, I should be able to meet it. And if, for example, due to any XYZ reason, I'm not, I will just take permission and I will make a group. With the help of the group, I would make sure I complete it. So trust is a rare but powerful skill. Just make sure whatever you are assigned with, you offer your best knowledge, expertise to achieve whatever is assigned. Teamwork and respect of workplaces, respecting seniors and juniors, handling criticism positively, cooperation, not competition. Handling criticism positively. I think many of us lack this because whenever we face some criticism at workplace, we believe that might be this was something personal or the other person tried to target you. So keep your mind open. It could be a scenario where a certain group targets you at workplaces. This is something very common, but always remember, no workplace is perfect. You will definitely face problems and issues. Your strength would be how effectively you deal all those situations while maintaining your impression and image in the organization. How ego and disrespect block promotions, learning, and systematic improvements. That goes from top level to the bottom level. Sometimes it happens somebody extraordinary is hired like in your team. You're a manager and somehow you feel like the person is way too smart and might be in another couple of months, they could be a threat, a possible threat for your position. So what some of the managers, what they start doing, they start, targeting you. वो आपको different तरीके से damage करने की कोशिश करेंगे, आपकी reputation, or will be giving you last moment surprises. So it's something very common at workplaces. Just learn the tactics to handle all that and make sure you give, because it's a very long debate. We won't go in detail, but all these things are expected at workplace. One important thing in employability skills is align your expectations. So if you think once you are hired, everything would be good and greener, it won't be. There will be another struggle and fight at workplace, which will go on. You should be ready for that as well.
So can you explain that part also? Like how to deal with the office politics, and how to make your way through the organization. Like there are people you find who are nasty sometimes. Like you do all the hard work and somebody else takes the credit, or somebody pulls you down. So what are those skills you require to remain right within the ethics, and you can manage that you perform well and you get as well?
I think that's a very tricky situation and scenarios. Workplace politics is not a national, it's an international issue and debate. Not even a single workplace would be ideal, or you can say there were no politics. What I experienced, because I have taught University of London and Hertfordshire's program, Binary University, Malaysia's program. I completed my thesis in USA, taught in several academic institutions in Australia and in Pakistan, like 20, 25 years. Every single workplace had politics. Lower the position, lesser the politics, higher the position, higher the politics. So the way how to deal with that is like there is no standard or thumb rule to deal with that. It depends on the situation. It depends how nicely you are integrated to the workplace. आपके manager के साथ, like, do they trust you? If, for example, you are sharing background story with your manager or your directors, are they listening to you, or are they in a position to take some action? Or if, for example, they're taking all the credit, I reckon there is not much that you can do about it. So what I do, if you ask me, I just go very patient. Unless my job is at risk, I won't take an action. I only retaliate when I believe that some XYZ is trying to hit on my job and my job might go. Then I would take a stand and I would start official emailing and highlighting the issue. If, for example, there are minor politics which are like everyday, like something like which is everyday going on, I would try to ignore it. I would just try to keep myself to my work. I would avoid the group talks or sitting in groups. Yeah, these could be these are not the ideal solutions, because organizational politics is something which is international, and there is no standard, solution to that. It depends on the situation. It depends on the organization. It depends on its rules and regulations. Sometimes the person who's doing the politics, they are at a power position. You cannot challenge them. Challenging them means you have to quit your position. So you need to be very wise when you are in such a situation. And I believe more or less all the organizations or workplaces have this scenario at a smaller level or a bigger level. So yeah, I think getting a job is one thing, and dealing with this is another very important thing, which is more like, your organizational skills, your communication skills, interpersonal skills, they can play a lot of role in this.
Probably we can have another session with you on this topic. Otherwise,
maybe I'll be happy to do that.
Which is not covered in books actually.
Which because this is something, there is no standard solution to this. And trust me, whichever country I went or whichever institute I go, there is politics at some level. And if, for example, the politics is getting done from a power position, you have to be just patient and go with the flow for some time, unless you're in a position where you can actually do something. So I usually don't take an action until my position is at risk.
As they say, if you feel something is not good, so just wait for your time, and when you reach that position, so then you make sure that you don't repeat the same thing with your juniors when you are at such a stage. That is one school of thought.
That is one school of thought. But as I told you, there is no standard answer to this. Everybody thinks different. All of us are different personalities. We have different approaches. Our way of thinking or doing stuff is different. Some of us can compromise for some time. Some of us cannot. So I believe just stand with the right thing. But if you ask me, I don't challenge people. If, for example, I see people are doing something which shouldn't be done, I would just distance myself, because being in that position, this is maximum what I can do. I would distance myself rather than going on front foot and challenging them, because all the organizations have their own quality and control systems and integrity teams in place. I think it's their job to deal with that. So this is how I take it. And it might not be perfect, but this is how I do it.
Thank you. Thank you.
All good. So problem solving and initiative, what employers want solutions, not complaints. Many of us, when they are assigned with some duties and tasks, and we believe somehow we are in a position where we are not fully equipped or we are not capable to get it done, we will be asking for a lot of help, or we are going again and again to the manager with problems. This is the issue, that is the issue, this person is not cooperating, that person is not cooperating. Always remember one thing. You are dealing with your stuff, your manager is dealing with tens of such things. You're not the only employee who's reporting to them. There might be 10 or 20 others who are reporting to them. If, for example, everything they assign to you, you are coming back with 10 or 15 complaints or issues, everybody come with the same number of issues, there would be 100 of issues to deal with. Manager would start getting panicked and frustrated. So try to make sure when they assign you with something, try to find some solution and try to implement it. If, for example, somehow you need to go to them with some issues, always go with the solutions. Tell them we are facing such and such issues, and this is the possible or the most ideal solution that we can do. And I believe they'll be very happy with this approach. Taking initiative, I do not fully agree to this one, because always make sure your managers, your line managers or your seniors are in line with whatever initiative you are taking, otherwise it can get backfired. Learning from mistakes, this is something very standard. Employee who reports problem versus one who suggests solutions, I believe they will always appreciate the one who is coming with solutions. Adaptability and lifelong learning, right matters, right, rapid changes in technology. Employees prefers learners over know-it-alls attitude. This is the same thing that we previously discussed, that if, for example, you are coming from a very renowned and established, well-reputed place to something which you believe is much lower or slightly lower in reputation or standards, we are humans, we automatically get a mindset that we were working at a better place, we were working at a better package, so somehow we are at a better place. But always remember, when you are in a new organization, the people who are working there, they have an edge over you, because they are there for the several years. So initial few months, try to listen to them, adjust yourself. Do not give them know-it-all attitude. People hate it. Remember these words. In organizations, your managers, owners, or directors hate know-it-all attitude. Just try to be good listener for at least initial few months. There are rapid changes in technology. Just make sure, as in the beginning we discussed, we were doing it on Zoom, or we were doing it on Teams meeting. So there are so many different mediums. Just try to keep yourself updated with technology. Otherwise, your promotion or your mobility across organizations will be challenging. How willingness to learn beats outdated degrees and know-it-all behaviors. This is something same that we just discussed. If you have any questions, just let me know, or we can go to the next slide. Pakistani graduates versus international graduates. I would quickly try to wrap it up because we are running out of time. Do you think it's the learning system, over-dependence on degree, lack of exposure? What do you think is the main issue that Pakistani graduates are facing at the moment? And do you think our educational system needs some improvements? I would like to take your feedback on this.
Certainly, I think इसमें problem तो है हमारे education system का. A system which is like just feeding you with a curriculum, and there is no personal development, no building of the social skills, no development of the workplace skills. Certainly, when you would step out of the university, you will be like half-boiled or half-cooked egg. बाहर की universities में, what I've seen is there's an emphasis on your overall development, besides your curricular achievement. They focus on your, like, for example, if you go to some Western countries, admission criteria is not only your grades in a
Mhm.
degree. The criteria, maybe they have other factors as well, your extracurriculars, your even volunteering efforts, your participation and all these your achievements. So they look at the whole person as a holistic person, not only your grades. That's why I think हमारे system में there's a problem, because हमारे यहाँ जो एक high grader है ना, तो we think like ये बहुत बड़ी achievement है, बस grades हो गए, degree होगी, then we can step in. But the problem is कि दुनिया आपके as a whole person को देखती है. Grade is
Mhm.
only one aspect to this. Unfortunately, in my system, we are just focusing on the grades only. That's
Beautifully said. I totally agree to that. And that is the main reason why I'm stressing so much on vocational and applied education. Because if I just compare Flinders University with why I keep jumping back to this, because these are my practical experiences. 3 years I was in Flinders, almost 3 years I was with TAFE, and I was in a position to compare both of them and then final comparison with the Pakistani institutes. Flinders was doing higher education or research-based stuff, but hardly 20 or 30% of Australians go to university. 60 to 70% of them are going to TAFE, which is technical and further education, or the other training organizations, just like vocational institutes. And trust me, I am so much inspired with the quality of work that these technical institutes produce. Their skills are exactly the way, if you just put them at work or make them sit on a desk, they would be able to do work in such a way that as if they are doing it for the last 10 or 20 years. And they are doing every single thing on a very systematic pattern. अगर वहां पर कोई रिटेलर है, रिटेल का 3 मंथ्स का या 6 मंथ्स का कोर्स होगा, जिसमें उसको प्रॉपर कोल्स या वुलवर्स पर या दूसरे जो उनके आईजीएस वगैरह जो रिटेल स्टोर्स हैं और बिग जायंट्स हैं, they will take them there, they will make them sit on the cash counter and the other doing the other retail stuff or stocking and shelving and all that. उनको वो पूरे का पूरा एक्सपीरियंस देंगे. The moment those students would graduate from there, they are the best fit in the market for any retail job. Australians somehow believe that degree is not solution for everybody. वहां पर just 3 months आप जाओगे in institutes में, or within like 3 months or 6 months, you would be so much equipped that nobody can challenge your technical skills or the other skills. So this is something that we are lacking here. Our degree is so much loaded with theoretical stuff that there is no space for soft skills or practical skills. So ye do cheezein hain that I strongly believe both of these things should be added in our curriculum in such a way that time should be divided. If, for example, there is 3 years degree, just make sure after the initial 6 months, your students are practically going to either it's the retail stores or it's clinics or it's hospitals or it's any other technical construction or electrical jobs, whatever they are planning to do. उन स्टूडेंट्स को आप वहां पर लेकर जाएं, उन कंपनीज में लेकर जाएं, उन ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस में लेकर जाएं, गिव देम. हमारे इधर जो स्टूडेंट्स हैं ऑस्ट्रेलिया में, if, for example, they are expected to attend 5 days, out of those 5 days, 3 days they would be at work and 2 days they will be in the university or the institutes. So 2 दिन का सिर्फ वो curriculum वो study करेंगे जो, for example, theoretical stuff है. Remaining 3 days the curriculum would require them to be at the workplaces. So this is something that we strongly lack here. हमारी degrees बहुत ज़्यादा wordy हैं, बहुत ज़्यादा theory based हैं. हमारे students को जब practical field में जाते हैं, they are not well prepared for that. That's why they face so much hardships. Students को Australia में they literally prepare them for interviews. They literally prepare them with the presentation skills, their resumes, their LinkedIn, everything they literally teach. जो कि हमारे यहाँ most of the students they just learn while they move in the market or from their mates. So
just to add on, like my brother's younger son, he's in grade 6 over there, and he says and he lives in Sydney. So I asked him, "What's your plan?" And he said, "I think I am going to be a plumber." So So I asked my brother, is it okay that he's a banker otherwise? So he said that probably they earn more than bankers over there.
Yeah, and this is another thing. Look,
That is another issue. Like here,
this
if you
was
have, even if you have technical skills, you can't earn much here in Pakistan. That's the difference, probably.
uh, I agree to your point of view to some extent, and thank you for sharing that. But trust me, what your nephew is doing, that's absolutely right. हमारे यहाँ पर somehow they have a mindset that the only doctors, engineers, pilots, or some other highly skilled people in their certain fields like just forces hain ya ye wo, these are only few career lines that the students can take or your young ones can take. Australia's market is totally different. Initially, I will just give you my example. I was very much hesitant from going from the university, switching to the technical education institute. I was just thinking a lot that here I'm teaching undergrad program, I'll be teaching some certificates there. But later on, I learned this thing that it's not about what level you're teaching. It's about how skilled you are and what you are producing. The students that we were producing from there, and end of the day, the money that they were generating, that is much more as compared to the degree holders. At this point in Australia, the highest earners are, like, obviously after the doctors and some 2-3 other fields, plumbers, technical workers, construction and trade industry, they are making hefty amounts. And the other thing is, their technical institutes are polishing these students to be entrepreneurs. हमारे यहाँ पर जो degree system है, we train our students to be employees in organizations. We do not train them to be entrepreneurs. Ye jo bacha, the one that you just discussed, at this point, he wants to be a plumber, might be in 6 months or 1 year, he'll be able to establish his company, or he'll be able to buy a big van where he carries all the material and then further expand the setup and all that. They highly encourage this mindset. There is no harm in being a cleaner or trade person or any other ordinary job. We have this concept back in Pakistan where this is a white collar job, this is a blue collar, this is a gray collar. There is no collar in Australia. You need to work. If you are working and you are earning, you are the best person. If you are setting up a business, nothing like that. If you are giving employment to 2 or 3 workers, you are rated much higher as compared to somebody who's working in some administrative position in an organizations. And plumbers, trade persons, they get much higher paid as compared to the ones who are sitting in white collar, doing some admin work in organizations. So हमें यहाँ पर ये mindset खत्म करना पड़ेगा. हम लोगों ने पूरे के पूरे university graduates को find a job पर लगाया हुआ है. 70% अवाम वहाँ पर technical institutes में जा रही है, and out of those 65 would be setting up their own small businesses, and government would provide them some aid or backup to start the business. And trust me, they are super successful. They are very highly paid and they make money like anything. So this is a good decision if you made that.
Madam Nadia had some question. I suppose she raised her hand, but then just lowered it. Madam Nadia, you got any question, please?
No, I don't have a question. Actually, I just want to add something again. I have also been trying to get scholarship in Australian universities. But I had really a bad experience, by the way, due to our education system. My proposal was accepted by everyone wherever I used to send in many universities, and many renowned actually supervisors, they accepted my proposal. But when whenever and even they were ready to give me admission, but not the scholarship. Why? Because I always get 2 answers. First one was. I have done my master, my MPhil from Connect College. So the weightage of my thesis was 25%. And there in Australian universities, they require 35% of research. I, in fact, tried to convince them that this is not my flaw. This was my educational background, my country's flaw, but they didn't listen. The second thing which I always used to encounter in terms of, I must say, rejection. It was, I did my master's in English literature through annual system from Punjab University. And in that annual system, no one has ever get first division. So it was the second division. So, and they wanted the first class degree. They wanted the first class degree for the scholarship. So despite the acceptance of my proposal, despite the acceptance of the supervisor, they pursued my application and scholarship everywhere. But I got rejected due for the scholarships only due to these two major reasons. And it was, in fact, not the lack of exposure. In fact, it was not over dependence on the degree. That was, if we say it was, they were the theoretical. In fact, it was the system which actually failed me in order to getting the scholarship. So sometimes there are many good students, bright students who are good at many things, but they do not get the scholarships only because of these systems which we are having in Pakistan.
Yeah, that was an upsetting story. But the thing is, if, for example, you are interacting with an institute there, just remember one thing, that if, for example, they have a set criteria, they will stick to the criteria.
Exactly.
No matter what's the reason, Australia is a market which do not accept if and buts.
Exactly.
If, for example, system failed you or whatever was the reason, they will simply say they are more like robots. They say you meet the criteria, well and good. You do not meet the criteria, we are sorry.
True.
They would work on such basis.
Exactly. In fact, they were not ready to listen that no one has ever received the first division in English literature in annual system from Punjab University.
Yeah,
but it was something really different for them. Like everyone is getting the first divisions or the CGP of 3 point or something.
Yeah,
But in fact, it was our system.
Because I myself did it, and I exactly know English literature is a subject where you cannot score like first division.
Exactly.
Nobody gets it, but
Exactly.
it's hard to explain it to them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This happened with me.
Yeah. Sorry for your experience, and let's go to the next slide. How to build these skills. This is a quick action plan. Try to speak every day for a few minutes in front of the mirror. Take a topic and do some speaking practice. Be punctual everywhere. Remember, punctuality is a practice. Accept feedback, work in teams, take responsibility. Now, just mention one simple habit that you believe you can immediately start. Do you think there is one soft skill that you can pick from there and you can implement it or execute it in your daily life?
If reaching on time is a soft skill, I am for it.
And I believe in punctuality, because if we are punctual, we actually all the other things are integrated with, very much with punctuality, our disciplined life, our meeting the deadlines, and many other things like trust and honesty. And in fact, if we are punctual, then these things are automatically.
Yeah, I believe punctuality is the first thing that leaves an impression on your employer, because the first interaction would be that you are on time.
Exactly. Punctuality is the basic thing.
Yeah. So remember, this can open doors, but soft skill decides how far you can go.
The problem is if you're being too punctual.
To the last slide, that's reflection. Which soft skill do you need to improve the most? We have just discussed it. And any questions if you have about today's session, I'm happy to answer that. But I think we had a lot of interactives.
Thank you very much. I think we had a very nice session. और हमें आज स्कूल के हम लोगों ने discuss भी की और participate भी किया. And the session was very interactive also, and really we had good input and suggestions and questions also. And thank you to Madam Eeshal Chaudhry for taking time out. Or Faisal, you started the session in my absence. And Madam Nadia, you are, your input, your session was very useful. Our questions say, आपकी जो input थी, participation was very good. And we look forward to your participation in our next sessions also. So at the end, once again, Flame, on behalf of Flame, I'm highly grateful to all of you for being here and for helping us run this session. Thank you very much, inshallah, and looking forward to see you again, inshallah.
I would take a quick moment to say thank you, Sir Iftikhar and Sir Faisal. And Nadia, you were a great participant. Our discussion was able to go on because of